Rostam shattered the armies of Turan, and Afrasiab fled in defeat. Yet he knew the battle was not over, for he held a secret, a boy of Persia, raised far from his father's sight. Sohrab, son of Persia, weapon of Turan, grew with unnatural speed, a boy who became a warrior in mere years. Afrasiab, seeing his chance come sooner than expected, armed him with an army, supplies, and steel, and unleashed him upon the borders of Persia. The White Fortress stood as Persia's first wall against the storm, proud, defiant, and doomed. Its warriors fought bravely, but before Sohrab's fury, even steel and stone crumbled. One defender stood out, swift, skilled, and fearless. Blade met blade, and for a moment the tide held, but Sohrab's strength was unmatched. When the warrior fell, so did the helmet, and a woman's face was revealed. Sohrab saw no glory in the kill, and turned his blade away. As the survivors fled into the hills, Sohrab's voice thundered behind them, not in victory, but in challenge. He called out a single name, Rostam. Whether to fight or to find him, no one knew, but Persia braced for war. News of the White Fortress's fall swept through Persia like fire across dry fields. From every corner, champions and warriors gathered to face the unknown foe. From his vantage, Sohrab watched the Persian champions arrive, their banners high, their names spoken with pride. One by one, he asked who each warrior was, but one name never came: Rostam. A battle of this scale and no sign of Persia's greatest hero. Doubt stirred in him, but also certainty that Rostam was near, or soon would be. For from the moment of his birth, Sohrab had carried a secret heavy upon his soul. His mother, Tamine, had told him, "Your father is Rostam, greatest of all heroes." Yet she warned him, "Hide your name, hide your blood, or the enemies of Persia will destroy you before your time." Afrasiab, fearing what might come if father and son stood side by side, sent trusted generals to shadow Sohrab, to sow confusion and deceit, and to keep truth buried deep beneath the sands of war. In the Persian camp, fear took root. Rostam was urged to stay hidden, not because of who the young warrior was, but because of what he might become. If Rostam were to fall, Persia would stand defenseless. But if his name remained in the shadows, then even Sohrab might wonder, where is Rostam, and when will he strike? The armies stood face to face, the earth trembling beneath the weight of steel and wrath. But Sohrab had not come for slaughter. Hoping to draw out the one he sought, he rode forth alone and called for a champion, one battle, one fate, to spare thousands. Thus came the hour the stars had long foreseen, yet neither father nor son knew the truth. Rostam, warned by his kinsmen to hide his name, held his tongue, and Sohrab, fearing the traps of Turan, hid his heart. Fate smiled grimly, weaving their steps ever closer to sorrow.
Old warrior, there's something in you, I feel it. Tell me your name. Are you Rostam, son of Zal?
Bound by oath and pride, Rostam answered not with truth, but with defiance.
Rostam? He is a mountain among men. I am but a stone at his feet. You seek a lion. I am but a jackal by comparison. Now draw your sword, boy, or leave the field in shame.
Long and hard they fought, as if the world itself hung in balance. Steel met steel, flesh met fate, and all the while destiny watched and wept. But at the end it was Rostam who had fallen, and now only wit could save what strength could not.
Hold, mighty youth. Among champions of old, it is no custom to strike down a fallen man upon the first bout. Grant me one more day to stand and face you anew, and win your honor not by fortune, but by true strength.
And so mercy bloomed where fate demanded ruin. Sohrab, noble of soul but unwise to the snares of men, granted reprieve to the one man he should have struck down. And destiny, patient and pitiless, wove the noose tighter around them both. The night whispered with uneasy winds, and Rostam, the mountain of Persia, sat bowed beneath the stars, a man weighed by questions no blade could answer.
Who was he? So young, and yet his hand struck like thunder. There was something in his face, a light, a memory.
Long ago in the land of Samangan, destiny led Rostam not to war, but to love. There, in the house of a kind king, the Lion of Persia found rest and love. By sacred rites, Rostam and Tamine were wed, their hearts entwined by both fate and choice. But unseen eyes bore witness. From that moment, whispers of their union travelled to distant lands, and Afrasiab, the dark king of Turan, marked Tamine and her unborn child in secret. Thus, father and son now meet, each blind to the bond that unites them, led by hands they cannot see, towards sorrow they cannot escape.
My child would still be young, barely a boy, not this warrior who nearly ended me. It is only the tricks of a weary mind.
So at first light, father and son, bound by blood and blinded by fate, faced each other once more, neither knowing the true weight of the sword he raised. Now it was Rostam who found his opening. He hurled Sohrab to the ground, yet in his heart he knew, this lion will not stay down for long. So before the young warrior could rise again, Rostam struck a mortal blow, and in that moment the world held its breath.
When Rostam hears what you have done, he will find you. Even if you hide atop the highest mountain, even if you drown yourself in the deepest sea, he will hunt you down and avenge me.
At that moment, the iron walls around Rostam's heart shattered. A chill ran through Rostam's blood, for within those dying words was his own name, not as a foe, but as a father.
I'm Rostam. But who are you? Why does your voice sound like a memory I lost long ago?
You're him, my mother, Tamine of Samangan. She told me, my father is the mighty Rostam. I came seeking him, hoping to fight by his side, to place a crown upon his head instead of that fool Kakavus.
Fetch the elixir. Let me heal him.
Father, let my army return to Turan. They fought only for me, knowing nothing of this cursed bond. Spare them. Let no more blood be spilled for my
The
fall.
Nushdaru, the sacred elixir of life, could mend even mortal wounds if given in time. But Kakavus delayed. He feared what a reunited Rostam and Sohrab might become, but the elixir did not come, and time, that merciless thief, slipped by. Rostam waited, and hope began to bleed away with Sohrab's breath. When the messengers did not return, when the king remained silent, Rostam rose. If mercy would not come to him, he would storm the throne and seize it with his own hands. But before he could ride, the king relented. The elixir was prepared. Yet, when it arrived, Sohrab was no more, and thus was born the bitter proverb, bringing the elixir after Sohrab's death. A cure that comes when the heart is already broken. And so the war ended not with a victor's cheer, but with a father's broken heart, weeping into the dust where his son had fallen. Thus the earth drank the blood of the brave, and the heavens mourned a bond never fulfilled. Rostam, the mightiest of heroes, crushed not by sword nor spear, but by the weight of destiny itself. Yet in the land of Persia, fate weaves another thread of sorrow still. A prince is born, Siavash, the son of innocence and honour, and his steps too shall tread a path of thorns and tears. If you walk this hero's path with me, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so the stories of Persia may find you when the next chapter begins.